Hey friends, and welcome back to another video. As you probably saw in the title, today we are going to be mood reading. Now that we have the fall TBR all picked out and ready to go, all I want to do is grab a book and curl up in a cozy blanket and read for hours on end. And so that is exactly what we are going to be doing. The first book that we are going to be reading today is actually a book that I've already started, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. I am reading Fourth Wing on my Kindle. If somehow you're like me and you missed the Fourth Wing craze, it's about this girl named Violet who has been being forced against her will to join the Dragon Riders, which is kind of like the military of this world, by her mother, who is the commander in Navarre. I'm not actually sure how to say the country's name, but anyway, her brother was a rider and her sister is a rider, and the mother is like, everyone in this family is a rider. You have to be a rider. But Violet's very fragile physically. She's not naturally built to be a rider. She was training to be in the scribe quadrant, so she's naturally more of an academic and not necessarily someone who is physically strong. So she was all prepared for that, and her mother was like, absolutely not, you are going to be a rider. Too bad, I have decided for you. So she is forced into rider school against her will, and from there the story unfolds with her facing obstacles and trying not to die, because that is what happens here. If you fail a task, you just die because you probably fell off a cliff or got incinerated by a dragon or something. So yeah, you don't want to fail in this place. And Violet, since she is not physically very strong, she has to find ways to get around the tasks or to do the task despite the fact that she is so small. Right now, I'm about 40% of the way done with the book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I think the plot is super unique. I haven't really read a fantasy book that is like this before, but I can't necessarily say that I'm invested in the characters. I like the characters. I think that they're fine, but I'm not super attached to them. I don't absolutely love them. So far, my favorite characters, honestly, they're the dragons. I love the dragons. They're funny and they add so much fun banter and color to the dialogue. And I especially like the way that the riders are bonded with dragons and the unique dialogue that happens because of the bondedness of the rider and the dragon. That makes it more interesting, but I honestly care way more about the dragons than I do about the main character. And so far, the love interest, or the person that I know is supposed to be the love interest, is not yet the love interest. Now I know I'm not even halfway done, I know, but like, they're not friends. They don't like each other. I know it's rivals to lovers, but they don't like each other like at all. Like, he wants to her. He does not want her alive. So the fact that they're going to end up being lovers seems a little bit far-fetched. Like, it's true enemies to lovers kind of vibe. So anyway, that's a long rant just to say I like the characters, but I'm not super invested in them except for the dragons. The dragons are the best and I love them. Though I do have to say, with the dragons, the part that I'm having a little bit of a hard time with is picturing the dragons themselves. Now, the descriptions in the book are fine. It's not a Rebecca Yarrow's thing at all. It's a me thing. And so I go into this book and she's trying to paint this picture of this big, ferocious, huge black dragon, and all I can see is Toothless coming. Like, that's it. It's just like, there's this big, ferocious red dragon, and I see Toothless, but he's red. There's this big, ferocious green dragon, and I picture Toothless, but he's green. In my mind's eye, they're not very ferocious, and I know that they are, and I know they're different sizes, and they're different colors, and they each have like different temperaments based on the colors and the species. Your girl's struggling with picturing dragons that are not toothless at the moment. Anyway, let's continue reading Fourth Wing. I have updates. I have updates for Fourth Wing. I got about 5% more through the book. I think I literally got like a chapter and a half away from where I last updated you guys, and something changed. Something changed. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but something definitely changed in me, and now I'm in. But I am in. I am loving this book. The first 45-ish%, I was not 100% committed, but now I'm in. I still love the dragons. maybe more than the humans, probably definitely more than the humans, but I am now really liking the characters in the story, at least more than I was. It hasn't actually been that long. It's only been like 15% since I last updated you guys. I think I'm close to 60% now. Let's look. I'm 56% of the way through with this book now. And I'm in. Like yesterday, I had to stop reading and I was like completely hooked on this book. I did not want to put it down. I could not wait to go to bed so I could just like read for another hour before falling asleep. And that's exactly what I did. So I have a little bit of time right now. So I'm going to go ahead and read some more right now. And yeah, that's pretty much the reading update that I have right now. I just need to let you guys know I am in. I understand the hype. We gotta talk. I am 87% of the way through. Things just got crazy. For those of you who have read Fourth Wing, this is the chapter with the final war game. That's all I can say. Anything else will be spoilers, but this chapter hurts. And Darna's adorable. Really? Don't you dare. No. That's the end? So I just finished Fourth Wing. Those last like 5 chapters were absolutely insane. I'm like still in shock by everything that happened. You know, I think I might need to go take a walk or something and then come back and tell you about my thoughts later. I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. This is a good book. I didn't get the hype at first, but now that I've read it, I get it. I see why it was popular. The ending was really good. The final battle scene was really good. Rebecca did an amazing job making those last couple chapters really pack a punch and get you ready to read the next book. And personally, I am very excited to read the next book. I know most people don't like the second book near as much as they like the first book, but I'm still so excited to jump into it. I think that the premise could be very, very promising. And I think there's a third one coming out. Honestly, because this book was so hyped up, I wasn't expecting too much from it. The first 40% that I didn't really enjoy as much, or I had a harder time connecting to the characters, was about what I expected throughout the entire book. But by the end, I was so happy that I had connected to the characters and I was so invested in them. And she did have some good plot twists in there that I definitely did not see coming. So that made the book extra exciting. There are a few cons to this book as well. Like I said, I didn't really care about the story or the characters for the first like 40 to 45%, which is a really long time. I wish that I had connected with them sooner, but better late than never. The ending of this book was really good. I mean, you guys saw my reaction to it. I was not okay while I was reading the end of this book. It was just so good and it was so heart-wrenching. Also, something that I forgot to mention earlier in the book, but there's actually deaf representation in this book. She only gets about 2 or 3 scenes, but one of the side characters is deaf and they do use sign language. And so I love that representation. I think that's so important. And it was really fun to see in a novel. So I just wanted to mention that before I forget it, because that's not necessarily representation that you see very often. Overall, I think that I would give Fourth Wing probably about a 4.5 3.5 stars. I can't justify giving it 5 stars when I didn't like it or necessarily connect with it for almost half of the book, but the ending was so well done and so intense that it definitely gave me those 5-star vibes with the connection to the characters and the dragons and the battle and everything that was encompassed in those last probably 5 chapters or so. That was all very much 5-star vibes. But since I didn't connect to the beginning part of the book, I cannot justify giving it 5 stars. Also, with my 5-star reads, I usually end up learning something new about myself or another person, like learning something new about life, even if it's through fiction. And in this particular book, I did not have that experience. So yeah, overall, it was a really good book. I did enjoy it. I'm really glad that I read it. It's so funny how you never know whether a book is going to be really good or not. And because this book was so popular, I was honestly even more skeptical about it because I've read some really popular like book talk, booktube books, and some of them were really just not that good. And I would never recommend them to people. And I gave several of them 2 stars. They just weren't well written in my opinion. But this book was an exception to that. And I'm really glad that it was. So that's it for Fourth Wing. The next book that we are going to mood read together is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I picked this one because after coming off of a fantasy, especially a fantasy that I really enjoyed, I need to switch genres so that I don't compare the next fantasy that I read to the one that I just finished and then end up giving it a lower rating because I was still invested in the other story and I just wanted more of that. So we're switching genres and we're going to do a mystery next. This has been a very popular book on Book Talk and BookTube, but I personally have kept it from being spoiled. So this is the next book that we're going to read, so let's dive right in. So time for a bit of a reading update on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I am now 150 pages in, exactly. I'm on chapter 16. And so far it's really cute. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not a story that has me on the edge of my seat, at least not yet, but it is really cute. And maybe by the end it will really have me on the edge of my seat. The book is going pretty fast, but there's a lot of interviews. So there's a lot of spacing on the page so you can read through the pages really fast because sometimes they're text messages, sometimes it's interview style, sometimes it's normal paragraphs, sometimes it's project entries. So because of the different formats in which the story is told, it's going by really quickly. So yeah, this far, 150 pages. That's really the only update that I have for you guys is that it's cute and it's going by really fast, but I can't really say that much about it without giving it away, so I'm not going to. I don't have any theories as of yet. There's not quite enough pieces for me to be confident in any theories that I do have, so I guess we're just gonna have to continue reading and find out. Things are crazy. It was not who I thought it was. Good job, Holly Jackson, for pulling one over on me. Usually I have some sort of suspicion. I think I only have like 2 or 3 chapters left. I finished it. overall, I think this was a really, really cute story. It was a fun mystery, and the plot twist definitely did get me. I did not see it coming. I would also really recommend this book for anyone who is interested in getting into more mysteries. I think it's technically a YA thriller, and because it is YA and it reads a little bit younger, if you're an adult, I would consider it more as like a mystery and not necessarily a thriller. But with that being said, I really did like it, and I see why a lot of people really enjoy this series. The characters are lovable, and Holly Jackson really can pull one over on you. And this was a great book for fall. I mean, it was just like a little mystery. I snuggled up with a blanket, I read it. And because of the mystery, it definitely fed into the fall vibe and atmosphere. So that was really enjoyable too. So I would definitely recommend it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to rate it. I'm kind of between a 3.75 and a 4. I'm leaning towards a 4. I guess it doesn't matter too much because I'm going to put it on Goodreads as a 4, even if it's a 3.75. So we'll just say that it's a 4-star. Anyway, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Really liked it. I think that's it for our mood reading vlog. It's been a really fun week. Both books that we read in this mood reading vlog were very good and were books that I would highly recommend. If I remember correctly, I told you guys I was in between a 4.5 and a 4.75 in Fourth Wing. I'm definitely leaning towards a 4.75. I have not stopped thinking about that story and those characters since I finished the book. And that's a really good indication that I'm really going to love that series going forward. And I'm planning on reading Iron Flame pretty soon because I cannot wait to go back into this world. And I think the next book, which I believe is called Onyx Storm, comes out in January. So I want to be caught up on the entire series so I can read that book when it releases, because I am just so excited about the story continuing. And I'm also really excited that it's not a trilogy and that it's going to be 5 books, because I want as much of this world as possible. I want as much of those characters as possible. So if you have not read Fourth Wing yet, I would definitely recommend you reading Fourth Wing. It is definitely worth the hype. I absolutely loved it. And then A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was also very good. Like I said, probably going to give it a 4-star. I'm not completely obsessed with this one, but I'm starting to think that maybe it's because I like the fantasy genre more than I like a mystery thriller. I think that is something that has been inputted into my ratings a little bit too, because I'm definitely more prone to rate fantasies higher than mystery thrillers in the first place. Anyway, I'm so happy that we had such good reads in this vlog and that everything was 4 stars and above. So I'm glad that my mood did not lead me astray and put me towards a book that I wouldn't have enjoyed that much. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what you are currently reading. And if you've read Fourth Wing and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, please let me know what you thought about those books in the comments. And I will see you guys next time.